The night air at the stadium carried a strange mixture of excitement and relief. Game 2 of the SMBC Japan Series 2025 had just concluded, and the crowd was still roaring long after the final out. For the winning team, it was not just another victory, it was a statement, a promise, and a declaration that they were here to chase greatness. As the players celebrated on the field, their manager stood quietly for a few moments near the dugout. His eyes scanned the field, not with arrogance, but with deep satisfaction. This was a team that had been counted out by many, a team that had battled through injuries, doubt, and relentless pressure to stand on this grand stage. When the cameras finally turned toward him, the stadium lights caught the faint smile that crossed his face. He knew the question that was coming, and he was ready for it. How does it feel to win Game 2 of the Japan Series? The reporter asked, microphone extended toward him. He chuckled softly before answering. It feels like the start of something bigger, he said. Together, we're going to be number 1 in Japan. The crowd erupted in applause, the words echoing through the night like a rallying cry. This wasn't just a post-game cliché. Those words carried the weight of months of struggle and sacrifice. The team's journey to the Japan Series had been far from smooth. Early in the season, critics had dismissed them as inconsistent, pointing to their shaky bullpen and streaky offense. But the manager refused to give in to the noise. Instead, he focused on building trust between the players, the staff, and even the fans. Every practice session was about more than just mechanics, it was about learning to believe in one another, even when the odds seemed impossible. By mid-season, that belief began to take shape on the field. The team started stringing together clutch wins, often coming from behind in dramatic fashion. Players who were once doubted became heroes, and the dugout energy shifted from cautious optimism to fierce determination. Tonight's Game 2 victory was the perfect example of that unity. Down by 2 runs in the 7th inning, the team could have folded under pressure. Instead, they fought back, hit after hit, base after base, until the scoreboard finally tilted in their favor. The manager watched every pitch with the calm focus that had become his trademark. When the final out was made, he didn't leap in celebration, he simply nodded, as if to say, this is what we worked for. In the post-game interview, he spoke about the team's mentality. You don't win championships with just talent, he said. You win with heart, discipline, and trust. These players showed all of that tonight. Behind him, the team's younger players were still soaking in the moment. For many, this was their first experience under such bright lights, and yet, they had performed like veterans. The manager made sure to highlight them too. They played without fear, he said proudly. That's how champions are born. Reporters pressed for more details, what adjustments were made after Game 1, how the pitching rotation would change, what mindset he wanted going into Game 3. But the manager kept steering the conversation back to the collective effort. It's never about one person, he repeated. Everyone contributes something. That's the beauty of this team. In the stands, fans were chanting his name, waving banners with messages of encouragement. Many had followed the team since spring training, enduring the ups and downs, the heartbreaks and comebacks. Tonight, their voices seemed to merge with the spirit of the team itself. The victory wasn't just a result on the scoreboard, it was a reflection of belief. The kind of belief that transforms ordinary players into legends and managers into icons. The stadium lights glimmered off the championship banner that hung above the field, as if whispering that this might be their year. Inside the locker room, the mood was electric. Music played, players danced, and water bottles sprayed in celebration. Yet, amid the chaos, the manager stayed composed. He congratulated each player personally, reminding them that this was just one step on a longer road. His message was clear: enjoy this win, but remember why we're here. Those words resonated deeply. The players knew he wasn't one to celebrate too early. He had seen enough baseball to understand that momentum can vanish as quickly as it appears. Later, during the formal interview session, he elaborated on his vision. Our goal isn't just to win games, he explained. It's to become a team that represents the best of Japanese baseball: teamwork, humility, and respect for the game. When asked about his, "Together, we're going to be number 1 in Japan," statement, he smiled again. Because that's what it takes, he said simply. Together, no one wins alone. He spoke about the veteran players who had guided the younger ones, the coaches who had stayed late analyzing film, and the fans who had filled the seats rain or shine. They are all part of this journey, he said. They all wear the same spirit. His leadership style was calm but deeply motivating. Players often said that his words carried more weight because he didn't speak often, but when he did, everyone listened. He had a knack for saying exactly what needed to be said at the right time. During the toughest stretches of the season, when the team dropped 5 straight games, it was his quiet confidence that kept the locker room from collapsing. He reminded them then, as he did now, that baseball is a game of resilience. You don't judge a team by one bad week, he once told them. You judge it by how it responds. And respond they did. That response led them all the way to this moment, a Game 2 victory that tied the series and restored their belief that destiny was still in their hands. Outside the stadium, fans lingered long after midnight. Some sang team songs, others replayed the highlights on their phones. Everywhere you turned, people were talking about that 7th-inning rally, that diving catch in right field, that fearless pitching change that turned the tide. The manager's post-game interview soon went viral online. Fans quoted his line, "Together, we're going to be number 1 in Japan," and began turning it into hashtags and signs. It became more than a quote, it became a movement. Commentators across Japan began to talk about his leadership philosophy. Former players praised his humility, saying he reminded them of the great managers of the past, leaders who valued the soul of the team over the spotlight. Even rival teams couldn't help but acknowledge the unity on display. One opposing coach reportedly said, "You can't fake that kind of chemistry. They play for each other, not for themselves." The next morning, sports newspapers splashed his words across the front page. Analysts dissected every moment of the game, pointing out how the manager's decisions, from lineup adjustments to bullpen timing, had shaped the outcome. Yet, he downplayed all of it. The players executed, he told the press the following day. "I just gave them the space to believe in themselves." It's that humility that made him beloved not only by his team but by baseball fans across Japan. In an era dominated by analytics and egos, his simple approach, rooted in trust and teamwork, felt refreshingly authentic. He knew that the Japan series wasn't just about skill. It was about endurance, adaptation, and emotional control. Every game tested, not only the players' bodies but their minds. And he believed that mental strength was their greatest asset. By the time the team boarded the bus for Game 3's city, the mood was focused yet optimistic. The manager's voice echoed through the aisle. "Remember, we're still writing our story. And we decide how it ends." Those words lingered like a quiet anthem. The players nodded, headphones on, eyes determined. Somewhere deep inside, they all understood what he meant. That the road to becoming number 1 was paved with moments exactly like this one. Back home, fans prepared banners and chants for the next game, eager to welcome their heroes once again. The nation was beginning to believe that something special was happening. Something that transcended baseball. And in the heart of it all was that one unshakable message: together, we're going to be number 1 in Japan.